May I have your attention, please?
Welcome to Real Gaijin, unveiling the real Japan, an American expat's inside look. Now it's time for another story from the Read My Lips series of podcasts. Summarized podcast.
Well, good evening to those of you tuning in from Japan. It's now 7 o'clock p.m. in Japan, but in Mumbai, it's the middle of the afternoon. In Berlin, it's 11 a.m., and all the way in London, it's 10 a.m. And if you're tuning in from America, get to sleep. You can listen to the recording. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Pascal Gudorf, who is our guest for today. I'm Mark Kennedy. I'm the host of the Real Gaijin Substack and also AMA podcast. I want to remind everyone this is an Ask Me Anything podcast. So please use the chat function at the bottom of your screen to put in questions for Pascal, and he will be glad to answer them. We have to do everything with our mobile phone, so we will be monitoring as we go. Just a little bit of background about Pascal. He is the CEO and he's also the founder of a specialty consulting firm called Japan Business Insights, or JBI. This firm will help you if you're interested in the Japanese market of, first of all, identifying the opportunity in Japan, developing a go-to-market strategy, and then helping you implement that strategy. He's got years of experience, literally decades. Also, this is a very accomplished gentleman. He speaks 4 languages fluently, originally from Germany, also mother from France, so absolutely fluent in both German and French, fluent in English and Japanese. Mind-boggling. Spent years working at the German Chamber of Commerce in Japan in Tokyo. Has also worked back in the private sector for giant Japanese trading firms and other private firms in Germany. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you Pascal. Please say hello, Pascal.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Well, terrific. Also, just a little bit more housekeeping. We will be making a recording available tomorrow. Just give me 24 hours and I'll get that out. And the other thing is we've got links to all of Pascal's businesses and other contacts in the invitation, which I'll also put in the recording published. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, interestingly enough, both of us are calling in from the southern main island of Japan, Kyushu, which is where we call our home now. Now, Pascal lives near Fukuoka. I live on the other side of Kyushu. But it is a coincidence that both of us who spent a lot of time in Japan decided to relocate to Kyushu. Pascal, before we get into the Kyushu stuff part of the story, back way up, please give us your background and how you got to Japan.
Yeah, okay, Mark. Well, that's a long time ago, actually. I started to study Japanese in college. This was just a curiosity in the Japanese language and culture. I had never met a Japanese in my life. I mean, this is back in the 90s, coming from a small town in Germany. And there was just like a spark of interest in Japan. My dad had told me about the Shinkansen when I was very little, and and I was using like a Sony Discman, and we had a Mitsubishi car and all this. So I mean, this is the high time of the like Japanese export economy in the 90s, 80s and 90s when I grew up. So Japan was like really an industrial superpower at the time, but I had no idea about the culture. Had literally never ate sushi, no ramen at the time. I mean, um, this is a totally different time, but somehow I was interested and started to study. Actually, I met my first Japanese friend in New York City just after graduating high school. But I had already decided, okay, I'll give this a try. And after 2 years of studying, I went to Tokyo, got a scholarship to study in Tokyo for 1 year, and this was a great time really to immerse myself in the culture and the language. I mean, this is still 1996, so basically before the internet. So there was no like smartphone app to translate or navigate the streets of Tokyo. Literally, I had to learn kanji.
Yeah.
And I did this really like 5 kanji a day, or all the kanji I couldn't read on the street. I was just putting them in my notebook and
Yep.
looking them up in the evening. And so I really immersed myself, and that was the start of a whole journey. And yeah, after that, I mean, I did my first internship in Yokohama for a German machinery company.
Yeah.
Got to know a little bit about like also the conflicts that might arise between um, yeah, Germans, foreigners, and Japanese at the workplace or in between companies when you have meetings. Um, so really, this sparked a lot of the interest in Japanese business culture.
Right.
And ever since, I've been helping mostly European companies from Germany,
Hmm.
Switzerland, Austria, to set up their business in Japan, help them
Uh,
with their market entry. So that's really what I'm doing now. So I've started to work on my own, so
mhm.
independently for the past 6 years, and it's really been a great learning journey.
Terrific. Well, we'll get into that in just a second. Yeah, first of all, as a fellow student of the Japanese language, also starting at about the same time, a little bit earlier than that. Um, I bet you made your own flashcards too.
I did, yeah. I had lot of notebooks and flashcards, everything. Yeah,
Generation X here, yeah, before the internet.
yeah.
Although it has probably come to serve you well by actually having you learn to write.
Um, yeah, but I mean, you know how it is when you don't practice, and now with
Yeah,
the smartphone giving you like all the answers, it's
true, true.
gotten so easy now to communicate um, in Japanese. But sometimes I still do. I practice with my daughter, who is
I,
like in middle school and of course, has to study the Japanese characters. And sometimes
oh,
she challenges me.
I bet she does. That's terrific. Say, let's back up a little bit. So you did an internship, and then after that, I know you spent a long time working for the German Chamber of Commerce in Japan. Tell us a little bit about that experience. What did you do?
Yeah. So, I mean, the German Chamber of Commerce helps German companies enter the Japanese market with basic market information,
Mm,
introducing companies to potential
mm,
partners, customers. And I was doing the public relations
ah,
for the chamber. We had a monthly magazine called Japan Market. Um, German language magazine on the Japanese market, and I did a lot of like interviews with German country managers in Japan, and so got to know a lot of the also again the challenges that they are facing,
mhm.
and could cover some of the success stories, but also some of the mistakes that
Sure.
people make or reflected on. So that was a great
Good.
experience as well.
So, about how many German firms have subsidiaries in Japan?
There are about 750
Oh, a lot.
German
Okay.
companies here. Most of them with subsidiaries, some with
I
uh,
see. And a lot of are these like wholly owned subsidiaries, or are most of them joint ventures with the Japanese partners?
mostly it's wholly owned. Of
Oh,
course,
okay.
there are then a couple dozen, hundreds joint ventures beyond that. Yeah.
Yeah. And these are primarily pretty large scale industries or businesses.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the big ones have been in Japan for a long time, like
Yeah.
the Bosch, Daimler, Bayer, these kind of companies. But there are a lot of like medium-sized companies
Mm,
that the backbone of the German economy.
yes.
And so some of them really like the hidden leaders in their industry. And yeah, I think a lot of them are doing well. Um,
Yeah.
it's not easy to enter and be successful here.
True. Well, I definitely want to ask you more about that. One other thing about the types of business relationships, besides wholly owned subsidiaries and joint ventures, do many of the quote unquote clients of the German Chamber of Commerce in Japan also are they seeking distribution channel partners?
They do. This is. Finding a partner is for many of the companies that come here is the first choice. Maybe even before setting up your own business here, it's always also a question about how committed are you? How many resources can you put into the market? So some start with distributors, with shoshas, Japanese trading companies, and some stick with those when they're doing a good job. And otherwise, or after a couple of years, when you see that the business is picking up, maybe then it could be a time to open up your own subsidiary here.
I got it. Very good. Say, you told me when we prepped for today's meeting that essentially there are some headwinds in China, which are causing many of your clients and other potential prospects throughout Europe in particular to rethink their investments channeled originally or targeted for the Chinese market to Japan again. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, of course, like the geopolitical situation has changed.
Mm.
I would say since COVID. Before that, I mean, during all those 2 decades, I've been involved with Japan. At the same time, China was rising,
Yes.
and of course, that was the new well market and the factory of the world. So everyone flocked into China. And Japan, we had two lost decades.
Ha.
I wouldn't really call them totally lost because Japan really kept its like um, a lot of the like affluence
Mhm.
Japan kept, but of course it wasn't the focus of foreign companies. They went elsewhere, but I think for the past 3-4 years. Um, I think a lot of European companies are rediscovering Japan. There are a lot of initiatives also between the EU and Japan,
Mm.
um, or, for example, Germany and Japan. A lot of like bilateral agreements. We have the EU Japan FTA, the Free Trade Association, since I think it's before COVID, maybe 8 years now.
Okay. Mm.
Um, the the results, I would say, like on trade wise, you don't really see it that much, but a lot of the processes have become easier. There used to be, for example, a big tax on cheese, imported cheese
Huh.
from Europe, and actually Germany is a pretty big producer of natural cheese. And then with the FTA, the tariffs went basically to zero, and
Oh,
a lot of the cheese on Japanese pizza actually comes from Germany.
okay. That fact blows my mind.
Yeah.
Little known fact. Well, that's terrific. So obviously, it sounds like there is opportunity in all sorts of sectors, not just in the automotive or pharmaceutical or
I
chemical.
Yeah, of
Mm.
course. A lot of European companies, especially when I speak about Germany or Switzerland, these are highly specialized
You know,
machinery manufacturers, equipment manufacturers, and they complement also the Japanese industry very well.
Yeah.
Of course, they're competitors, but um, I think, yeah, I've had a project, for example, for a big Japanese automotive OEM
Mm.
that was building a line for electric motors for the electric vehicles.
Ah,
And some of the machines to like wire these motors, they come from Germany, and I helped them with that project. It was a pretty tough project because it was impacted by COVID. So none of the engineers that were supposed to install the machines and calibrate the machines, none of those were able to come to
oh,
Japan at the time. And um, actually, this was a coincidence. We found an English teacher in Tokyo who used to work for that German manufacturing company. So he had changed his career, come to Japan as an English teacher, and then we need someone on the ground because no one was able to fly to Japan
yeah.
for 2 years. And we found this guy, and he did a terrific job. Implemented everything, also with remote. And then
Yeah.
when he got stuck, he was constantly connected to the German headquarter. So yeah, and the Japanese OEM then was able to ramp up the production.
That is terrific. Terrific. So, speaking of other things that came out of COVID, you formed your own business.
I did. I mean, I started to work as an independent freelance market entry consultant just before COVID. So we
Okay.
came back to Japan in 2019.
Hmm.
That was, yeah, good timing. I think you came at the same
We
you
did.
at
We
the
did.
same time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was the other way around. I was asked to go back to the company's headquarters in America in 2019, and we said no, which turned out to be the right choice. But yeah. So tell me more about Japan Business Insights,
Yeah.
JBI.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was doing all these projects for European clients in Japan, and I was always collaborating with like German partner organizations, a consulting organization that so provided the leads or the projects.
Mm.
And but I thought, well, some of they wanna work with me directly. Um, So I set up my own company 2 years ago, JBI, and yeah, also this helped me to build my own brand. Now I'm like also researching
Yes.
more topics about doing business in Japan that yeah, I publish on different social media. So I think yeah, it's a fun journey also to start your own company and then
Yeah.
um yeah, help people make sense of Japan.
By the way, we kind of skipped over this fact, but you chose to relocate from Germany back to Japan, not in Tokyo, but in Fukuoka or near Fukuoka. Why?
Yeah, exactly. So I spent more than 10 years in Tokyo, and this was a I mean a great experience. I still love the city. um but yeah, somehow we after yeah the long long time in living in this mega city, we wanted to live somewhere else. And so my wife is originally from this island, from Kumamoto. And so when we were looking for a place to relocate, um, coming back to Japan, we thought, okay, why not come to Fukuoka, which is a great city in the north of Kyushu, 1.5 million inhabitants, very dynamic. Actually, one of the few cities in Japan that are still growing. I think
That's right.
Tokyo is growing, maybe Yokohama is growing, Fukuoka is growing as well. So drawing a lot of people also from other parts of Western Japan. And yeah, so this was the decision we made, and it's more relaxed down here, and still I have all the convenience and the connection also to
Exactly.
Tokyo. I mean, here you've got the Shinkansen, and so in 3 hours you're in Osaka, in 5 hours in Tokyo, and with the flights
Yeah.
as well, it's really convenient all over Japan actually. I talked to someone the other day, and they had actually the choice to work for a Japanese company in Tokyo remotely, but they need to go there once a month. And this guy is living in Miyazaki,
Oh,
and
certainly.
so actually, I mean, you can do it. You can work remotely, and yeah, sometimes go to see your clients or your headquarter. Yeah.
I do exactly the same thing. Yes,
Mhm.
and from the same island as both you and he.
Yeah.
Terrific. And so, how has it been so far starting your own business, being your own boss?
Yeah, I mean, like project wise, it's really going well. Um, so of course there are always some ups and downs. Clients leave. I had one client after 4 years decided not to continue on the Japanese market because
Oh,
the projects weren't coming in. But so I think you always need a pipeline
right.
of clients, and so far it's worked pretty well. But on the other hand, I mean, you have to take care of everything, all the
Exactly.
administration. I mean, I don't have a big like workforce or so, so
Yeah.
that's much easier. But still, especially the setting up
Mm,
process, I did everything by myself
yes.
because I really wanted to understand how it works.
Mm,
So I didn't ask an advisory to do it for me, but I did the whole establishing process by myself, the incorporation, and so it taught me a lot of lessons. And actually, the establishment was quite easy.
mm.
A few steps that you have to take in the right order. Um, but then the real challenge was getting a bank account in Japan.
Yes, I've seen you wrote about that in LinkedIn and in your book.
Uh,
Yeah, but having done all this literally by yourself, that can now you can explain to your clients exactly what they need to do. That's good.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Say, I just want to put out a quick reminder to everyone who's listening. This is an Ask Me Anything live video, so please use the chat function at the bottom of your screen, perhaps, where it says "Write Message," and put a question in there, and we'll read it. But we won't necessarily read your name if you want to remain anonymous. Great. We'll look forward to those questions. Good. And so your target client list, basically everyone right now is coming from Europe, and this is all inbound investment, or at least looking for a joint venture partner or some other distribution channel partner within Japan. It's one way from Europe to Japan, correct?
Most of the projects are a market entry to Japan. So this can be like energy
Mm.
infrastructure, um, IoT software, for example, um, the machinery, automotive, all these kind of industries. I'm really like B2B guy from all the projects that I've had. Recently, I got an inquiry from an old friend of mine, if I could help him sell Spanish wine in Japan. So,
Okay.
well, all I did was do a little research with the help of ChatGPT and gave him a couple of ideas. Let's see if he wants to come to a trade fair. I mean,
Mm.
I'd love to do some consumer goods from time to time.
Sure.
Because infrastructure and these they take so much time, like
Mhm.
5 years until you
Long project. Wow.
you get a real project. Yeah.
And how do you go about prospecting? Is it all word of mouth?
For my clients, it's word of mouth
Okay.
introduction. Yeah.
Sure. Well, you've had such a long career already with the Chamber of Commerce, I imagine. Well, I know your network is enormous, but that's great that you're doing that. So, wow, that was my next question actually, was how long are the terms of the engagement?
Mhm.
Multiple year projects, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Now, does it vary though, depending upon obviously the level of complexity?
It depends, and you really never know if you're going to be successful.
Mm,
I've had so with one client, they are doing like metal recovery from
mm,
chemical plants.
mm,
So when you have a certain chemical process, you use a catalyzer made out of precious metals,
mm.
platinum,
Oh, okay.
and that is very expensive. And during the process, this metal gets washed out. You can filter some of it, but a lot of this metal actually gets lost in the like steel equipment in
Ah,
chemical plant. And so I worked together with this American German service company that does recycling for chemical plants. And this was a coincidence how I met them. Really, like I was just helping them with one client meeting in Kyushu, and from that meeting on, developed a um, real project, because that Japanese chemical company was dismantling one of their
ah,
chemical, well, subplants. And we made an offer, and I, this took, actually, it was, in the end, it was faster than we thought. After 1.5 years, I think we took out these huge steel reactors, 8 tons, 12 tons of steel scrap, and we shipped them. So I organized the shipment, the containers. Think actually there were two plants that they were dismantling 1 year after the other. So in total, we shipped over six shipments, 6 containers with these big steel scrap, and the German company could recover more than 20 kilogram of precious metal. So that's a lot of money that was hidden inside the steel scrap. But the Japanese company, actually, they just wanted to get rid of this stuff. They had a certain idea how much could still be in there, but we, after a lot of meetings, I must have been in Kyushu 8 or 9 times to meet them, before they finally made the decision to let us take this over. And I think we made a good offer, but in the end there was much more inside. So this was really hidden treasure
hmm.
for my client.
That is a terrific real world example. And I know you have written extensively about this in your book, which is getting to yes in Japan. Also, you're a prolific poster on LinkedIn. Some of the things that you counsel your clients in Europe about working with Japanese prospects and customers. Can you go over some, like, for example, it sounds like be patient
Mm,
would be a good one, or also to whom you have to meet, not
yeah.
just the top. Give us some ideas about what kind of counsel that you provide.
Yeah. I mean, I've experienced, for example, sales directors coming over to Japan, and we were sitting on the Shinkansen and they were preparing their presentation for the client meeting.
Mm.
And so in the end, they just presented a standard presentation, maybe had a couple of questions, but you can imagine what how this meeting went. And actually, now I really, yeah, tell people that it's so important to prepare for your meetings in Japan,
Mm.
and to put yourself in the customer's shoes.
Uh,
I mean, you if you want to make business in Japan, you really have to, yeah, start understanding the priorities of your Japanese client. They are sometimes they might be waiting for you because you are the only one providing this kind of solution, but oftentimes you you come with a either it's a product that's already available in Japan. So where do you really um, yeah differentiate
sure.
yourself? If it's only price, I think it's Japan might not be the right market
Yeah.
for you. You really have to think about what are all the like benefits, advantages that your product brings, but then are the use cases that you are thinking of. Maybe in Europe, in the US, you have a certain customer, certain type of customer with a
Mm.
certain type of problem. But are the Japanese companies facing the same kind of problem? So really finding the sweet spot, and yeah, this what we call nowadays the product market fit. If
Yes.
your solution really fits that that the pain or can solve the pain that the customer has. So really, yeah, put some thought into the preparation. That's what I tell people.
Very
And
good.
if you want, we can go through like the step by step process that so how I approach meetings and negotiations in Japan.
I tell you what, let's do that in just a minute, but we have our first question. So before we do that, and it's a question that has to do with your background. So first of all, thank you. Hello, Mark and Pascal. Nice seeing you on the live translation video. So Pascal, do you keep your German citizenship? If yes, have you ever considered becoming Japanese?
um, a cousin of mine actually asked me yesterday, "Have you become Japanese?" Like with the new prime minister in Japan. Um,
Ah,
but no, I I would never, well, have never considered becoming a Japanese. So I'm a German national. I also have a French passport, and I think
oh,
like European passports are pretty like universal or give you access to a lot of countries. So that's really good, and yeah, still like being happy to be able also to take part in, for example, German um, like parliament elections.
oh,
So of course, in Japan, I have no vote, but I can live with that. So and so actually probably it's different for you. I'm not even a permanent resident in Japan so
Oh,
far. Um,
okay.
I extend my visa for 3 or 5 years.
Mm,
So maybe next time I'll apply for the permanent residency.
very good. Well, that's a good answer. Thank you for the question. Keep those questions coming. We want to hear more about it. Okay, let's go back then. Yes, that was very good advice to be prepared for meetings in Japan. I completely concur with that. Hey, I'm just curious, when Japanese business people travel overseas, like on the exact opposite objective to find a partner or to do diligence on a distribution channel partner, let's say in Germany, almost always they will travel at least with one other person, maybe
Mhm,
in a larger group. Very infrequently by themselves. What about German business people or people from France or other parts of Europe? Do they
mm,
come to Japan by themselves, and are they empowered to make a decision right then and there
mhm.
on the spot?
Um, a lot of them come solo, I would say.
Oh,
Mm,
okay. Mm,
I mean, if you have, yeah, bigger clients, maybe it's not the first or so, and it's getting a little bit more, um, yeah, detailed. You wanna have also some people with technical background. But nowadays, I mean, you can also invite them via Teams or Zoom to
oh, sure.
join m client meetings if you want. So yeah, I think, of course, it makes a different impression when you come to Japan to meet with the big ones, the, yeah, Toyotas or Asahi Kasei's or these kind of
Mm,
huge corporations, because they will always be present with 3, 4, 5 people. Um, so, but actually, as I support these people, these business developers, sales directors, CEOs on their like trip to Japan. So we at least two.
oh, that's
Sometimes
good.
we I have the Japanese senior advisor
Mm,
who can join for meetings if we would meet with companies in the electronics semiconductor sector. Then
mm,
he has a background working for NEC.
mm.
So yeah, it's always good to also have a like Japanese
Yes,
national than joining. Yeah.
I agree. Thank you for answering that. I'm curious, when, let's say, a German business person comes over, and I can imagine it depends on the company, but in general, are they empowered already to make decisions on the spot, or do they typically listen, take notes, then return back home and meetings, and then get back to you?
Good good question. I mean, I rarely encounter these situations in the meeting where a definite decision is really necessary, like on a price
Ah,
for a certain item or so. Um, but okay, if the managing director of a small company
mm,
comes over by himself or herself, of course, they can decide on the spot if there's room for negotiation. So it really depends.
okay. Well, that's fair. Yeah, I was just curious. All right, everyone who's listening, please put another question in here for Pascal. Terrific. Um, so, go over some of the services that JBI, Japan Business Insights, provides. I imagine like basic market research is part of the package.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you what I'm working on right now.
Okay.
So there's actually a Swiss company doing some market research right now on a certain like machinery sector in Japan, and so I have a business partner from the UK who's helping me on that
Yeah.
topic, and so we well we cover all the competitors first of all, do a competitor analysis, and see where the product could fit into, where it could be positioned. Also, yeah, we search for how these products are used in Japan, if they're used the same way here as in Europe. And then we look also for some partner companies they could work with, and so we list up uh, also some bullets on which steps to take, and we finish with recommendations for the market entry.
I got it. How do you conduct like due diligence on a particular candidate that could
Mm.
be a partner?
For so that's a very good topic. I experience a lot of companies coming to Japan, and they know they need a local partner,
Mhm.
and some of these might meet companies at a trade fair and start their discussions from there, um, which is a legitimate approach, um, but it's kind of random. Um,
Exactly.
and of course, well, if the chemistry is there, it might be good, but maybe the expertise is missing. And so I would really list up a few companies, have initial meetings with them, and then evaluate these on different criteria. If they have the manpower, the expertise of the like industry, the domain knowledge for that product, if they would also be willing to follow certain pipeline, how do you call it? Um, like monitoring, because sometimes, okay, you or a lot of the times in Japan you have these trading companies, distributors that work on a pretty traditional way. So there's one person in charge, one project manager who's representing an overseas product, and having his, mostly it's male,
Mm.
his contacts, but there's no real like pipeline strategy following up on a regular basis or evaluating,
Oh,
qualifying the potential target customers and so on. So, I mean, I think many companies from the US, from Germany as well, we work in a more structured way. I mean, there are also tools you can use, Salesforce and so on,
right.
to track your leads. And so, I mean, depending on the product, if you only have 5 potential customers, like the company that I talked to with the chemical plants, there are only 5 or 6 big chemical production sites in Japan. So you don't need this kind of CRM.
Sure.
But for other, maybe consumer goods or so, I would strictly advise you to work with a Japanese distribution partner that can track these
Back.
things, and also that is transparent about it. So you can monitor this from overseas, because um, there's so much information that is lost, not because people are not willing to share, but because it's just not done in a methodical way. Maybe you have your check-ins, online meetings with your Japanese distribution partner every 2 weeks or so, but there's so much in between that gets lost, and you don't understand why a project, or why you're not moving forward with a with a certain customer. And if you can have a shared tool and then discuss with your Japanese counterpart on the process or the progress that has been made, I think then um, a lot of the frustration that you might have, you won't feel that frustration
Sure.
because you can really see the yeah the progress, and then you can talk also about solutions, countermeasures.
So JBI remains involved in some cases to monitor progress and help move things along. Like, for example, as you were just mentioning,
Mm.
maybe a common format of a monthly report and then a meeting to you can
Yeah,
facilitate that. You do that service too.
yeah, I do that. Either we are in charge of business development itself, so
Okay.
this is me or
Oh,
a partner of mine who's actually meeting these
mm,
potential clients, and then we can feed this information back directly to our German customers.
mhm,
Or I also work together with Japanese partners,
mhm,
distributors, and I must admit it's not easy to really grasp how what kind of progress has been made.
mm. I feel the pain. Okay. Say, another topic that seems to be at least mentioned quite a bit in LinkedIn lately is, especially with a change in attitude toward foreigners here, is the fact that many Japanese companies don't have a development succession plan, or that literally they don't have anyone to take over the business from it, let's say an aging manager and
Mm.
president. And I mean, there are literally hundreds of thousands of companies in Japan like this. Are you seeing some interest on the part of your clients in Europe to actually acquire all or a portion of such businesses as maybe a quick way to get involved in the market in Japan?
I think it's an interesting approach, and there are probably a lot of opportunities. I think you've covered this with Mika
I did.
a
Yes.
couple of weeks
Yes.
ago.
Yes.
But for me, this is not the prime target.
Okay.
At the moment, I would have to think about if it might fit for some of the products.
Mhm.
If that could accelerate the market access. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a new space to watch, especially as there are more restrictions, for example, on starting a business in Japan.
Mhm.
It sounds like a lot of your clients would have the financial wherewithal to do that. But nevertheless, this is one other option. Very good. And you touched on a couple of the pitfalls that your clients face. Could you give us some more examples of typical issues that come up when dealing with Japanese clients or customers?
Yeah. So maybe it's not a real pitfall. It's just, I mean, a way of approaching and thinking about doing business and having meetings in Japan. It's um, actually this is something that took me a long time to understand. Everyone knows that there are hierarchies
Mm,
in Japan, and so you have to you hand over the meishi, your business card, um, often in in a hierarchical order. Actually,
right.
you so the most important person on your team will exchange the business card with the most highly ranked person on the other side. This kind of ritual, and then people are surprised that this senior manager w- will stay quiet during the meeting, or
Mm,
um, will not make a decision if he's or if we raise the question. And so there's this disconnect between like hierarchies,
mm,
like a strong role that hierarchies still play in Japan, the decisions actually, they are made on a like consensual basis, and everyone's kind of involved. A lot of departments are involved, and so this is something that people have to wrap their head around. That decisions don't happen in the room on the spot, but usually the Japanese will take home what they've learned, discuss it internally. They will verify a lot of the things. As soon as you get questions from the other side by email or in the next meeting, for example, the more the better, I would say. Then you really start to move the ball forward.
Mm.
Um, and but yeah, you can expect a lot of question, and that's pretty frustrating for many of my German clients, because they think, well, why are they asking this right now? We don't even have a signed contract or an NDA yet. Why do they want to have all these details? That's only interesting after implementation.
Ah,
Um, so, but you don't just want to brush it off. You really want, yeah, all these questions answered, because otherwise the Japanese won't make a decision. And this is something that goes, yeah, also into the like cultural dimensions. There's this concept. I don't know if you've heard about this Dutch psych anthropologist researcher from IBM who did. He's called Hofstede, and he did this research in IBM. I think he started in the 1970s. He researched thousands, tens of thousands of people working for IBM at the time worldwide, and he saw the differences between how people act in certain
mm,
situations
mm.
um, on different levels. Like you have, you can you can um, set or structure cultures in, like, you have the masculine cultures, feminine cultures. You have the different power hierarchies that I talked about, hierarchies, and then actually there's also a dimension that's called like uncertainty. Can you make decisions, or under what degree of uncertainty
Yeah.
can you make a decision? So from a cultural point of view, and for example, the Americans, so you would be quite comfortable making a decision, taking some risk, and knowing that you need to figure out, or you need to live with the results and maybe then change your decision later on. But the Japanese, they have a very hard time taking decisions under uncertainty. So this is called uncertainty avoidance. So the Japanese are really highly ranked on this scale, and so that's why you get all these questions, and sometimes they are so detailed you wonder what they are, yeah, why they are asking this. But it's really often it's because the manager that's asking cannot make the decision by himself, but needs to involve um, his boss and so on. Um, so yeah, it's really it's just a different approach to doing business and making decisions.
Well, I can imagine your clients in Europe need to be prepped on what to expect. So that's a good background. By the way, we have the questions are coming quickly here, which is wonderful. Let's go to one of them. Hello, Mark and Pascal. Thank you for this live session. Pascal, do you support Japanese companies with their outbound expansion strategies as well?
I do. So actually, what I do is I help, in this case again, the German like state to attract Japanese investment. And so, well, getting investment is our goal, but oftentimes we will have these meetings with Japanese machinery or electronics manufacturers, and they are not at the point of investing quite yet, but they first need to enter the market, expand on the market overseas. So that's where I also consult on different, for example, trade fairs that they could attend, or we we introduce some potential distributors as well. So this is where I also work for Japanese customers.
Oh, that's terrific. It's good to know that you do that. Good. We have another question. From the same person that asked the first question. Thank you very much for answering our previous question. Pascal, as you've been meeting with a lot of local CEOs or other managers in Japan, what do you think about the aging Japanese society? Is it getting more and more difficult to reach a consensus?
Interesting question. So, of course, the demographic change is ongoing. I have couple of business partners actually who are like Japanese business partners who are well beyond 70. One of him, I think, is 79 now and still going strong, not letting go. And his son, who is my age, is still like kind of in pole position. So I think, yeah, this is probably something that people maybe in the like middle age can also be frustrated about, or the younger even more so. That a lot of the power decisions, the like strong industry networks also are very, still in the hands of the old guard, I would say. I think, well, in some segments it's changing. Of course, Japan has a vibrant startup community now. So yeah, hopefully this gets some more dynamic, and also young new leaders that get their chance.
I agree. That would be terrific, so they can have authority delegated to them at least. Very good. Okay, we have another question / comment. This is from follow-up from the question before the last one. I have one more question. I'm from Nigeria, studying in Japan. I understand your clients are typically from Europe, but what are some of the universal strategies that might apply to companies from emerging markets looking to break into Japan?
Yeah, I think everything that I said is universal. In the end, you want to have a like quality product or solution that really meets some of the pains and the demands that Japanese customers have. They have very high quality requirements, also service. I mean, if you want to be successful in Japan, it's best to have a local interface here.
Right.
I mean, depending on like the service that you provide, but I mean, at least have someone they can reach during office hours from Monday to Friday, and speak in Japanese about any problem that could arise. So yeah, I think that's really the prerequisite to consider the Japanese market. And apart from that, be ready to learn. First of all, listen to your Japanese customers, and also be ready to adapt either your product or your approach to the Japanese market. I mean, sometimes you need to change the marketing message, because the one that you have in your own country doesn't resonate here. So there are really a lot of small things that need to be adapted.
Very good advice. I completely concur. And there's a lot of opportunity for companies from all over the world coming to the Japanese market. Going back to your specific experience, specifically with Germany, what kind of issues would maybe be the cause of a culture clash? I mean, you talked a little bit about expectations on decision making a minute ago, but are there other things that come up often?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, so of course there's in the industries that I usually serve, it's a very masculine
Okay.
society. Like the big Japanese manufacturers, you will rarely meet a female
Oh,
manager or
interesting.
even a lady joining
Mhm.
meetings. So this could raise some eyebrows if there's a female manager coming over, being in charge. But nevertheless, I mean, Japan also is changing and sometimes needs also these kind of like impulses from overseas. So yeah, I think um that's overdue.
Yeah,
Japan
I agree.
also yeah gives more female managers a chance. Yeah, apart from that, I mean I think well culture is important, but on the other hand, like etiquette itself, if you follow all the rules, this doesn't mean that you will be successful. There are
Mm,
other things that I think are even more important. So as soon as, but as long as you behave, um, maybe overdress for a meeting, um, not underdress, not come with your like sandals. But I think as soon as you've handed over your business card, after that, the real discussion starts. And if the Japanese can feel that you put their priorities first, that you listen and that you
mm,
really are willing to think about this, adapt your products, answer many of their questions, then I think they will feel that yeah, a real professional and caring about them, and then naturally some trust will develop. Of course, you have to build that trust over time by really following up or um, walking your talk, that you deliver on what you've promised. If you some information or then get get that from like inside your organization and feed it back, and then little by little I think you will develop that trust.
I'd agree. That's terrific advice. Very good. Well, everyone, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We are out of time, but as I mentioned before, we're going to put the recording out tomorrow. And so if you missed anything or want to listen to it again, you can do that and or pass it along to someone else. Um, Pascal, before we sign off here, you are the CEO of Japan Business Insights. If someone is interested in learning a little bit more about JBI, what do you recommend they do?
Well, definitely you can reach out. You can find me on LinkedIn, so that's Pascal Gudorf, or on our website, that's jbi.one, jbi.one. And yeah, I'm happy to hear from you and yeah, see if interested to hear your questions about the Japanese market and see if I can point you in a good direction.
Oh, that's terrific. Very good. All right. Well, on that note, we will sign off. Everyone who joined in, I very much appreciate it, and I know Pascal does too. Pascal, we'll stay in touch since we live on the same island. We'll have to meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, let's find some time and meet finally.
Terrific.
Mhm.
Okay, well, have a good evening and rest of your day for everyone outside Japan.
All right. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching and or listening to another story from the Read My Lips series of podcasts on Real Gaijin. Tell us what you think and be sure to tune in again next time.